Hi, I wanted to go over a couple of issues to make the bar tool smoother on the first try, so you don't have to do so much cleanup with it. So right now I just made a default fit curve. So this button is pressed. So the curve points are fit to the surface, and the curve itself in between the points is tightly fit to the surface. I'll go to the bar tool. Now this scan happens to be somewhat smooth. Or actually it's very smooth. So let me just drag this point over into this imperfection here to exaggerate it. So first of all, here's a huge mess, right? And it's pretty rough. You'd have to spend some time cleaning this up. So the first trick I want to show you is if you go back to the curve tool, edit curve, and you select the curve, is to use an unfit curve, right? Now, the danger of the unfit curve is if you only have a few points, your curve in some places might be somewhat above and somewhat below the surface. You can adjust that by how many points you put in. You can adjust it by the slider as well. But that's something to be aware of, that you might run into trouble because your curve is not so tight on the surface. But now if I go to the bar tool and click on my curve, now my result is already much smoother. Now here's the second trick. The second trick is right now the profile, orientation of the profile that's being swept over the surface, it's very closely following the refractory. So every little bump, it changes the orientation of the profile. Now if instead we use something smoother, like the curve tangent, now we get a much smoother curve, something that you almost, when you apply it, you won't actually need to do much cleanup at all. Now, one last thing here is these endpoints, right? These endpoints are way up. I think usually people don't ride the curve up onto the mesh area, but and you can see why, because the curve point is sitting on top of the wax, so both these endpoints are way too high. But if we go back to the curve tool, it'd be nice if I had this some other way, but there at least is this option. So we select our curve again, and we select this tool. And this tool means ignore the wax, go directly to the scan or the refractory. If I jiggle this point, it actually projects it down into the blockout. And now I click on fit again. So now these endpoints are lower. They're still going up onto the blockout, of course. It'd be nice if actually we could project them onto the scan in this case. Then it actually would be perfect. Let's see now. Yeah, okay. So now we'll apply the bar again. And we don't need the music player. I don't know what that's doing there. Now we'll select curve tangent again to get that smooth. Okay, so now we have a very nice, very smooth bar. Now you could perhaps, yeah, like I said before, you might want to use some more control points in here. But other than that, you can, with a tiny bit of planning ahead of time, you can get a very smooth result. So let's just apply that to see the final result. And there it is, super smooth. All right, thanks guys.